it's working!
This is an MK31. Originally built as a tractor trailer, it has rear steer, locking differentials, and live auto leveling suspension. In this video, we're gonna transform this from a tractor trailer into a dump truck that can go anywhere.
Can I open the top and just put my finger in the bottom?
You just went for it. Whoa. A cable snapped, the whole door went.
Stop! Stop!
Shoot. Here it is. It's here. Uh-oh, I don't think you can make that hill. I'm gonna go nice and easy.
Yep.
Whoa. How we looking?
You're looking good.
Always an adventure around here. But we've got a dump truck, at least half of a dump truck. This right here is the hill that he couldn't make it up in the truck, so I'm pretty nervous right now. I think we're gonna make it. The worst thing is if that dump box goes flying down the hill disconnected from the skid steer and crashes into who knows what. Oh, I can feel the skid steer tipping. We're tipping a little bit. Oh, it came back down again. I think we're good. Oh, I knew everything was going too smooth. I pulled this off the road, I hopped out, I unhitched it, I didn't look behind me, and I literally backed into a sinkhole, and I am stuck. Now, if I tilt my forks down, I think it'll pull the skid steer forward. At least I hope. And it worked a little bit. At first I moved the dump truck, but then the skid steer moved, I think, so I'm gonna reset and try again. Oh, it's working! It's working! Okay, one more reset. Hey, can you hear me? Yeah. Well, the bad news is I got stuck in the swamp. The good news is I got myself out.
That wasn't funny. I was not mentally prepared for that.
I'm sure she's gonna get me back for that one. Lesson learned, always look behind you before you back up. Good morning, another Craigslist adventure today. We're headed off to buy something that I did not even think it was possible to find on the used market. I've got my dad with me, big shout out to him. We're towing a trailer, it's gonna be a good day. Oh, 2 forklifts.
Look down!
Perfect. This is the Oshkosh MTVR MK29 that this dump bed came off of. They chose to start with a dump truck version of the truck because it has the wet hydraulic kit on it already. So this has hydraulic PTO driven remote control sprayer on the front of the truck. We've got a dump bed, and not just any dump bed, it's actually the correct dump bed for our truck. These are ultra rare, and I didn't think there was any chance I would get one. We are now one step closer to building our dump truck. Every time you move one, I'm gonna move it too. You're giving me directions in inches, but you don't know how much an inch is.
Oh! Come down!
This bed is for an MTVR, which is the kind of truck we have, but it's for an MK30, which is the official dump truck variant. And that truck doesn't have the rear steer or the auto rear suspension. So we're gonna have to get to work modifying this truck and modifying that dump box to hopefully fit them together. I think that step one is just gonna be to remove all the tractor trailer stuff that we're definitely not going to need anymore. All right. You want a quesadilla?
Go on then.
Go on then, I think that means yes. Well, here goes the fifth wheel plate.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up, top of the morning. The bacon is crispy. The coffee.
And because we have an excavator now, we can just put it
I'm already scored.
over here.
Parking spot right outside. All we ever get is green lights and blue sky.
Oh, lunch. Thank you, Courtney. Just like when we put the hitch on, the impacts aren't even touching it. And that's my 3/4, that's the big boy. It's only gonna end one of two ways, with a loose bolt or a broken tool. Ready? Oh, I got it. And hopefully this breaker bar holds up to the end. I think I asked for that one. With a loose bolt or a broken tool.
I think it was the Marine who eats all the chicken from the chow hall that put that in.
All the way up. And here we go.
Definitely cut it though.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand a little further back this time. I can't believe that worked. The material that was holding the bolt tight is gone, so now the bolt's loose. And I think now we're just gonna do all the rest of the bolts like this. Yeah, Boone. You know the spot, huh? It's days like this that I'm thankful to have air conditioning in the shop.
Well, this is pretty heavy, you know.
How much do you trust me? Oh!
Heavy.
Yeah.
31 kilograms.
40 pounds. 70.
What is 70 pounds in kilograms?
31 kilograms, 70 pounds. We have two of them to remove, so that's 140 pounds. I bet we've pulled 500 pounds off this truck by the end of the day. 33 and 7/8. Oh, that's gonna be close. We just spent like the last hour going round and round with the tape measure, trying to decide how we wanted this box to fit on here. And finally, Andy just looks at me and he's like, do you wanna just set it on and see what it looks like? Yes, definitely. Which means that we're about to find out just how cool this truck is going to look. All right, Andy, are you ready to hook up the chains? Do you remember the last time we built the dump truck? Do you remember me pulling on it with the tractor? All right, here we go, lifting the box. It's pulling the bucket open. The distance from there to the pivot point is so big that the weight of the box was opening the bucket open. The hook is right under the pivot point, so there's no leverage. I was trying to lift with the bucket like that so that it wouldn't want to spin on us, but we need to lift with the hook. Take two. Okay, something else to watch. The exhaust on the headache rack. I think that wishful thinking was setting in and we were hoping that we could just push this box as far forward as we could here and call it good enough. With that much overhang, it's just not gonna work out. So back to the drawing board. It's time to start removing more stuff, cutting and modifying this box. Step one, we need to relocate the controller for the automatic leveling rear suspension, which also holds a hydraulic cooler. I think that's also for the suspension, or it might be for the rear steer. Either way, both of these need to move. Oh, that's heavier than it looks.
Heavy, yeah.
Well, there's nothing like committing to a scary plan, but I think we have a plan. Time to remove the box, get to cutting. but it's not the straightest thing I've ever cut. Do not go under body. It may drop and kill you. Woo! No turning back now. I never thought I'd have an air-conditioned shop, but once you have an air-conditioned shop, I don't think you could ever go back.
He's starting to spit grease out.
Oh, because it's gotten so hot?
Whoa.
150. Oh yeah, that's hot.
I'd like to give like a good saying here, but I don't have one. But it's very hot.
Very hot. Turns out we're actually going to get our dump box further forward on this truck than the original military dump truck version of this truck, which means we also have to cut out of the headache rack for clearance for the exhaust. I can feel that lighting my socks on fire. Oh yeah. I can't believe it's taken me this long to use a hand torch on a plasma cutter. Here we go. Test fit number 1 and hopefully the last one. By the way, I haven't even introduced Andy yet. Andy is a friend of ours. Him and his wife, Mary Hannah, are here visiting us for a while. And well, if you visit Ambition Strikes, you get put to work. How's that exhaust look? I need to swing a little bit left and go forward. Gordy, it's fitting. You want me to like hit it with my excavator? Yeah.
Looks to me you could up.
Okay, I can't take it any longer. I've got to look at it. Andy, this is so cool.
I can't believe that you're gonna give this to me as a gift.
I know, I can't either. Like, it would be so useful here, and I don't know what you're gonna do with it.
I think I could put a tent in the back.
Oh my gosh, it looks so cool.
It does look good, yeah. It looks sick.
Good morning. We had a very successful day 1 on this dump truck project. We're at it again. The highs today are expected to be well over 100 degrees, so we're gonna try to keep cool. First step this morning is to pull the dump box off the truck again. All right, so for the first time on this project, we're gonna lift the dump box up, but let the subframe stay so we can see how the scissor hoist mechanism works and take some dimensions on the subframe. After staring at the frame and staring at the subframe and staring at the dump box and taking lots of measurements, I think we finally have a plan. And first, we need to head to town and get some steel.
You're gonna get a truck, you might as well get a big one, huh?
All right, here we go. They said at the steel yard they'd be happy to weigh us, so we're about to go get a weight.
Trying to think what it relates to.
How many elephants?
5 elephants.
5 elephants.
27,520 pounds.
Whoa.
I don't know what that means yet until I feel it.
Yeah, that's way heavier than I thought it was going to be. You ever used one of those before? No, never. What's those things on your hat for?
I thought that's where it was meant to go. Right, I think I'm a grinder, man.
Oh, you're almost there.
Yeah, I am actually.
Yeah. So the steel we ran to town to get is going to be a riser that's going to sit on top of the frame rail, and then our dump truck box is going to sit on top of that to get us the clearance we need over these trailer air tanks, as well as over the hydraulics on the front for the suspension. Sort of one of those projects that's starting to snowball. As one thing's in the way, another thing's in the way, but we're making great progress. Which means the next step is going to be setting the dump bed on and figuring out all of the mounts. We're getting pretty good at that.
That was the best one yet.
I am the drill press. I am fully embracing my new love of plasma cutters because I don't want to drill these big holes. So what we did was we pilot drilled all the way through to ensure that our hole pattern was transferred to the other side. Now I'm going to try to use the plasma to cut a hole big enough for this spacer to slip all the way through. Okay, here we go. That is so much faster than drilling. If you've been around this channel long enough to know what project these steel spacers were left over from, drop it in the comments below. The idea now is that we'll put these steel sleeves and weld them, and that way when we bolt it, the bolt has something solid to clamp to. Here we go. One down, 7 to go. So hot. It feels like my brain is melted.
I think we should order some food. Keep working, because this is a fun project to be on air.
It's 6 o'clock. We're gonna send Courtney to town to get some dinner so that Andy and I can keep working and making progress on this because I'm excited to see it like on the truck and up in the air like that. And we're not that far away. That side looks like it lines up well. Guess we'll see what happens when we put bolts through it. We better be able to get one to line up. The question is, will all 4 line up? Look at that. Yes. Nice job.
I actually didn't think that last one were going to line up.
And then it was like... 8 for 8.
Great success.
4 years ago, when Courtney and I built our shipping container house in California, we installed one of those window mount air conditioners. And after 4 days of feeling like we were living in a vibrating tin can, we realized that we needed a better solution. That's when I discovered the Mr. Cool ductless mini split system. So last year when Mr. Cool reached out about being a channel sponsor, we were thrilled to bring them on board as part of the team. And with that, we'd like to thank Mr. Cool for sponsoring this video. Their DIY systems like this one are one of the fastest install projects I've ever done. And the best part is that anybody can do it. There are no special tools or knowledge required. The secret to the fast install is the pre-charged line set. The lines are already evacuated, the compressor's already charged with refrigerant. All you have to do is hook them up and you're done. The variable speed DC inverter compressor makes them super efficient, great for keeping energy bills down or, like us, living off grid. But I think my favorite feature is how quiet they are. This one's running right now, it's cooling the entire shop, and I can't even hear it. This is our second summer using this to air condition the shop, but last winter we also used it to heat this shop. With a 7-year compressor warranty and a 5-year parts warranty, Mr. Cool stands behind their products. We know so many people now that have installed these Mr. Cool DIY systems, and they all provide the same feedback. It was really that easy. To find out which system is perfect for you, head to the link in the description below. And thanks again to Mr. Cool for sponsoring this video. Thank you for dinner. Get this, at breakfast of the day, Courtney ordered avocado toast after she knew that the restaurant was out of avocados.
That was still good.
It was just toast. Now I just take my illegible notes to the computer. There we go. All right. Oh, that's perfect. We also picked up some 3/8 inch thick plate at the store that I'm thinking we'll just weld like that. We've been having a hard time getting the bed aligned because every time we move somewhere, something else moves. So this is lined up perfectly right now. We're gonna weld it. That's gonna keep this spot right where we want it. Then we can move the front into place.
We're just going to pull this round probably 3/4 of an inch or so, half an inch maybe, if I knew what inches were.
Oh yeah, that's working. Oh,
Too much.
too much.
One click and it was too much. That's very close.
Day 3 started a little unexpected with a big bang. Those of you that have been around the channel for a long time know that we built this door ourselves, and for the first time in 3 years, we've had a problem. A cable snapped, the whole door went brrr, and we spent the last hour or so just trying to figure out how to get the door open enough to keep working on this truck. That's a project for another day. Today, we're working on the dump truck. Everything's in place. The dump bed is exactly where it goes. We've got a plan, and we need to make some brackets and finish welding this on. Ready? It's better than the last time we did this. Okay, so here's the plan of this truck. Originally, this dump box was mounted with a spring style system that allowed some chassis flex underneath the dump box to prevent from overstressing the chassis right where the dump box ends. So now this plate is going to weld here to the side of our new subframe, and this bolt and spring system is going to be mounted like that. And then this gusset will go like that. Andy, have you used a plasma cutter before?
Once when I was a kid, just on a piece of sheet that my dad set up for me, but since then, no.
Nice, now it fits. That is one of the original chassis mounts that would have been bolted to the truck that this bed came off of. And in the spirit of trying to use everything it came with, it's gonna make a perfect way to reinforce this back where the pivot is. Because when we go to dump this thing, if we're not perfectly level, there's a lot of force back here. So we wanna make sure that it's well mounted to the truck. Now we'll just weld this bracket to our new subframe all the way around. And this corner back here is like way strong. So now what I'm gonna do is call the rosette weld in the old bolt holes to help weld this bracket to our subframe. When we cut the front of the box off, we also cut the brackets off that make sure that when it comes down, it stays centered and aligned side to side like that. So now Andy's gonna cut those brackets off the chunk we cut off so we can find a new place to put them on the truck.
It's insane how much faster that is than a grinder.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Nice. Let's go.
I'm king of the mountain.
And then this one will go. By this point in the video, I'm sure you're wondering, Riley, why are you building a military dump truck when you already have a military dump truck? When Courtney and I bought this truck and converted it into a dump truck, I don't think we had any idea just how useful having a dump truck was going to be. This truck has a curb weight of 17,700 pounds and a gross weight of 22,700 pounds, which only leaves us with 5,000 pounds of payload capacity, which means that we can only haul like quarter loads of gravel without being overweight in this truck. A normal Class C license can drive that truck. Now that I have my commercial driver's license, I no longer have that weight limitation. On the other hand, this truck has a gross vehicle weight rating of 62,000 pounds, almost 3 times that of the LMTV. Additionally, I'm also trying to track down an equipment trailer that'll allow us to tow this excavator with this truck, which probably leaves you thinking, well, what are you gonna do with the LMTV now? I don't know, drop it in the comments below. What do you think we should do with the LMTV? The final step before we can lift this thing up with the excavator for the very first time is to bolt the old subframe to the new subframe. Unfortunately, when I lined up these brackets, these holes don't quite line up and the bolts don't go through. So, Plasma to the rescue.
Wow.
One hole down, one to go. I have no idea why it's like this, but this is how it was on the original truck setup, so that's how I'm leaving it. But basically this big thick spacer goes in, and then the bolt goes in, and that clamps this one rigidly. So now the front uses the spring system. So the spring goes in like that. Now when we tighten this down, the spring is actually applying clamping pressure to hold the front of the bed down. It's not suspending it on the springs. And what that does is when the chassis flexes underneath the dump box, it allows our subframe to separate a little bit from the truck chassis and keep from over stressing the chassis right here where our subframe ends. We are about to test this dump truck for the very first time, using the excavator to pick it up. And it's only day 3. Everyone ready? All right, it's working. Down. Look at that. We have a dump truck. All we have to do is figure out the hydraulics now. Good morning on day 4 of this dump truck project. Now it's time to figure out the hydraulics. Originally, I was planning on using that steering pump to raise and lower our dump bed, but then I found out that it uses this small little reservoir right here. We need the system that uses this big reservoir here to make sure that we have enough fluid capacity. So instead, I think I'm actually going to be using the engine-driven pump that controls the suspension to raise and lower this dump bed. Okay, so here's the pump. The dump bed also came with all the hydraulic control valves off of the dump truck version of this truck. I think this is the one we need. I'm pretty sure that we have pressure from the pump comes in here, return to the tank goes here, and then these two go to the up and down functions on the ram. We have a room right here. Andy, what did we just discover?
They've already drilled out the firewall or the bulkhead here.
Hole in the firewall. Yeah, okay. Forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't even have to drill any holes to mount the controls. That's crazy.
Nut roll.
I forgot about that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, then it returns to like neutral.
3 minutes later, we can cross that project off the list. It's still scary sitting underneath this thing. Even though I know it can't go anywhere because the safeties are on. So when we pull on the control cable, it pulls this little thing in or out of the valve, which changes the direction that the fluid is flowing here to either go up or down. All the credit goes to Andy for this idea. We don't want dirt getting in those fittings. So we cut the fingertips off of a latex glove. Boom, caps. I made a bunch of calls. I found the parts we need, I think, but the shop that has them is 45 minutes away. They close in an hour, and we only have just enough charge on the truck to get there. Then we're gonna have to charge again to get back. So we better get going. We are back from the store. I think that we have all of the parts we need to fully install this control valve, which means that by the end of the day, we should be lifting this dump bed for the first time. Yeah, well, I don't want to trip. It's a safety hazard.
You had all day.
Actually, it looks pretty lined up right now, so let's see. Okay. The nerve-wracking part is there's probably 100 gallons of oil in that reservoir. So when we undo this, there's 100 gallons.
Can I open the top and just put my finger in the bottom? And then I'll get an oily hand, but only so much oil can come out.
Could you? I don't know.
Hello?
Looks shallow.
You just went for it. Well, how about we know you're plugging the right hole if the oil doesn't come out? All right, Andy's got his finger in the hole, and I'm about to undo this hose, and hopefully we don't drain all 100 gallons of oil out because I only have a 5-gallon bucket. No fluid came out. Andy, I think I remember there being a check valve on the bottom of that tank. Now that you're already greasy, do you want to pull your hand out and we'll see? Nothing.
So I'm here for nothing.
You're there for no reason. There's a check valve on the bottom of the tank. I remember seeing it now on the diagram. Now we know that you could do that if you had to. Okay, T in. And get that one tightened up. Both T's are in. All the connections on the valve are on, which means in theory, if I got all the connections right and the order of how everything works right, our hydraulics are done. And that means the very last step before we can dump this thing is mounting the control valve and getting the control cable hooked up so that we can control the dump from inside the truck. I have no idea what this was supposed to be, but now it's a bracket extender for the control cable. I think this is your welding.
Got to learn at some point, so it might as well be now while it's on a bracket that nobody else can see.
Can Riley make me into a master welder?
That's like a textbook perfect weld. I think you're lying to me that you've never
I'm
done
not
this.
lying, or it's in the family.
That has to be the best first weld I've ever seen in my life.
I'm honestly genuinely happy with that.
Yeah.
I feel like I could even show my dad.
Here's the Andy's welded bracket. Yeah, like that. I think it's dump truck time.
This feels like when you do an engine rebuild and the engine's in and you're about to crank it for the first time. The only difference is if this is wrong, it might come crashing down on us.
Here we go. First test of the ultimate off-road dump truck that we built in our driveway. Well, I thought the suspension was going to auto level itself. I'm going to try to dump it.
Remember to go steady, because the excavator's still attached.
Nothing's happening.
Have we broke the suspension? I need a spanner to tighten this nut up here.
We forgot to tighten a fitting.
Okay, let's try again.
I mean, the suspension's not working right now, which also makes me think maybe there's an air bubble, or I'm gonna try something. I turn the truck off, I'm gonna turn the battery off, and we're gonna see if unplugging it and plugging it back in fixes the problem. So we're gonna turn it back on again and start the truck. Is the fluid level in the tank changing?
I think, yeah, it's going down.
Because we pulled those rams open and they're full of air.
Yeah.
Is it still going down?
I can't see it now.
Oh!
Oh! Yeah, it's working! Hey! Right, stop there. I'll drop the legs down. I'll climb up and unhook the chains.
Okay, we're about to go up and down for the first time. We own a dump truck.
Oh, hey, it works. Nice one, Riley.
It's going up. It works.
That is cool.
Going down.
Hey. Right, let's go. Let's go put some gravel
Yeah,
in it.
let's go do some jobs. It's time to go to work. For whatever reason now, if we've done all these modifications, our automatic rear suspension isn't working anymore. And we can't get the ride height to go up or down, and it's stuck all the way down. And I'm worried that all of our pressure is bypassing that system through this valve. But everything I've read says this valve should be closed center, which means that it should be like a closed valve. It shouldn't matter at all. So we've undone the return, and I'm gonna start the truck very briefly. And Andy has bravely volunteered to see if oil comes out.
Yep. Stop! Stop! Came straight out, mate.
Then that's the problem. Shoot.
You've got a dump truck shirt.
You've got a dump truck shirt.
Let's be dump truck shirt buddies.
We're doing a super limited edition run on this Ambition Strikes MTVR shirt. Head to ambitionstrikes.com and grab one for yourself, your dad, your son, your wife, your cousin, your uncle, your brother, everyone that loves big, cool trucks. Now that we have proof of concept and we know the dump truck works, it's time to get all the little details wrapped up, starting with a reinforcement plate here on the back. We decided to add this reinforcement plate here, tying our new subframe into this back corner where the reinforcement plates are, and into this plate here that holds the pivot bracket, which is gonna make this entire rear corner all tied together and make this way, way, way stronger. Next up is to relocate this control box and the hydraulic cooler for the power and steering system, because it needs to now be below the level of the dump bed when the dump bed's down. It's heavier than it looks, and I think this bracket's gonna have to be pretty beefy. Power steering cooler mount is done. Next on the list is to reinforce the front of the box where we cut out these main frame rails, and we're gonna do that by building sort of a truss that transfers the load from the frame rails out to the sides of the box here. It's time to test the automatic tailgate latch. Before we go through the effort of hooking up to the truck's air supply, we're just gonna hook shop air up to it and see if it works. Whoa, are you sure the switch was off? Because it just opened the latch. Okay, Andy, flip the switch. Yeah, it works. Nice. On? Oh, it's not working, huh?
The pneumatic ram worked for about 3 or 4 times and then it just stopped working. So we've stripped it, or to at least try and find out where the fault lies, but we feel like it might be this part here.
Andy's working on the cylinder. I'm working on that big cross brace. I've got one more piece to weld in and then I'm done with that.
So we've got a couple of works out of it and then it's stopped working, but we'll see. We'll flick the switch.
Nothing. I read the instructions in the operator's manual and it said 3 Marines can lift it into place. But that serious injury may result if you try to do it with less than 3. Whoa!
Can you focus that, Riley? It says an honest day's work might take days.
What is it? The last 20% takes 80% of the time? It always feels wrong, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to pour the bucket this way.
Which looks like upside down.
Looks like upside down, but I did put the funnel backwards.
You can't do everything right.
Whoop. There's only 2 oils on this entire truck. Gear oil for the differentials, and everything else, the transmission, the engine, the hydraulics, is all just 1540 engine oil. All right, Andy, what day is it?
Today's the big day. We are finally going to go take a dump. I feel like this is probably the ultimate dumper truck. How could you make one better than this?
So with that, let's go test the ultimate dumper truck. I immediately noticed the truck rides way better now with a little weight. Like, this is actually pretty nice, huh? It's always a little nervous doing the first shakedown run. Like, this is the first time that we've had it out on the road since we've done all this work. And go check in at the office. All right, we're gonna get an empty weight first, then we're gonna head into the quarry, get our gravel. My best guess is 32,000.
I think it's going to be more than that.
33,360. I can't believe this is my life. And thank you guys for allowing me to do this. Like, thanks for watching our videos so that I get to play with big trucks and come to the quarry. We thought of one last thing, which there are some holes in the floor of the bed that we haven't filled that the gravel's gonna come out of. But we have this, and hopefully that's enough.
That makes you realise how big that bucket is.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. That's it.
Thank you. So now we need to raise the rear suspension up, but we haven't actually finished putting that valve in. So Andy, you're gonna have to hold it while I raise it. You ready?
Yeah.
No way.
How cool is that?
That is so cool. It worked. Even this is 3 times what I could haul in our LMTV. Nice job, man. Well, let's see how it does. Let's see what it's like on this cattle guard. Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. If anything, it drives better. Tare weight 33. So we're hauling 13,000 pounds right now. We could haul twice this much weight still. Oh my gosh, I'm amped right now. Like, oh, there goes my phone. I don't really know what's gonna happen right now.
It looks like you're slightly nervous about this.
I think for a number of reasons. We're also about to find out if the hydraulics are strong enough to pick it up. First things first are actually to drop the suspension. So Andy, you're gonna help me. We're gonna drop the suspension all the way. That makes it so that as we lift the dump bed, the truck is a lot less likely to rock side to side because it's sitting all the way down on the bump stops. Step 2, we don't have the air pneumatics hooked up yet for the automatic tailgate opener. So I'm the tailgate opener. When we dump, the tailgate will flip open, but these chains will catch it, so it's only gonna open about that far. It can't lift it. Shoot, dang it. I think we figured it out. Because we're tapped into the suspension system, there's an electronic valve in there. And so the way to trick it into working is we have to press and hold the suspension up button while also dumping the bed. At least I think it's going to work. Ready. You guys, we actually did it. We built the ultimate dump truck. We've got big plans for this truck for this summer, so make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. I think that's something everyone wants to try, pulling a house down with a truck.